Welcome to today's explainer. Look, if you've been feeling, stuck on a treadmill that just never seems to stop, you are absolutely in the right place. Today, we're going to unpack a super practical, mathematically grounded 5-year blueprint. And the whole point of this is to help you finally escape that 9-to-5 labyrinth. We're not talking about pinching pennies or aggressively clipping coupons here. No, we're looking directly at the data and honestly, the psychology you need to actually buy back your time.
Okay, so let's just dive right into this. We've all been sold the exact same flawed story since we were kids, right? The whole narrative goes, you work hard, you get a safe job, pay your EMIs your entire life, and then maybe, just maybe, you get to enjoy the world when you retire at 60. But let's be real for a second. Traveling the world when your knees are aching and your energy is basically shot, that's not exactly the dream we signed up for, is it?
Which really brings us to a visceral question. And this is for anyone who's just feeling exhausted and frankly suffocated by the daily grind. Is life really just about paying bills? If you've ever felt that internal frustration, that quiet little voice in the back of your head telling you that you were meant for way more than just surviving until the next paycheck, well, the system we're analyzing today is going to completely shift your financial gears. To understand how we actually break this relentless cycle, we kind of have to look outside the realm of standard finance for a minute. We need to examine the fascinating life cycle of the Chinese bamboo tree. Now, I know it might sound a little strange, but the growth pattern of this specific plant literally holds the ultimate secret of the top 1% of wealthy individuals. So here's how it works. When you plant a Chinese bamboo seed, you have to water it and fertilize the ground meticulously. For year 1, year 2, year 3, and year 4, absolutely nothing happens above the surface. I mean, for 4 completely silent years, not a single leaf breaks the ground. And honestly, this is the exact point where most people just throw their hands up and quit, totally convinced that all their efforts were completely wasted. But wait until you see what happens in the 5th year. After 4 whole years of what looks like total failure, in just 6 weeks, the tree violently explodes to 80 feet tall. I mean, it shoots into the sky at a pace that seems almost physically impossible. But here's the reality check. It didn't actually grow 80 feet in 6 weeks. Nope. It spent 4 grueling years building massive, unshakable roots completely underground. If it hadn't built that invisible foundation, there's no way it could ever support an 80-foot structure. And this right here perfectly defines the financial concept of compounding. See, people don't stay broke because they don't earn enough. They stay broke because they quit in years 1, 2, or 3, just because they can't see the visible results yet. So the crucial point for us is applying this bamboo logic to our own money. How do we reach that 80-foot explosion in our bank accounts? Well, we do it by using the 3-5 rule. Now, to be clear, this is not some shady get-rich-quick magic trick. It's a highly realistic, incredibly practical system designed for the next 5 years of your life to transition you from working for survival to working strictly by choice. This journey means we have to navigate 3 specific stages. We've got the foundation in the first 2 years, acceleration in years 3 and 4, and then the highly anticipated explosion stage at year 5 and beyond. Let's break these down real quick. Stage 1 is the foundation, and let me just be totally upfront with you. This is the toughest and absolute most boring phase. Seriously, 90% of people fail right here and just run back to the safety of the rat race. Your job in this stage is simple, but it is hard. You fix a set amount, it doesn't matter if it's $5,000, $10,000, or $20,000, and you start a strict systematic investment plan, an SIP. You put it in an index fund, a mutual fund, or an ETF, and you take a literal blood oath of absolutely no withdrawals. Rain or shine, no matter what happens, you do not touch this money. Just like that bamboo building its roots, when you check your portfolio at the end of year 2, your bank balance isn't going to look much bigger. You might even feel pretty frustrated seeing those inevitable market dips. But remember, the growth is happening underground. Your internal discipline and your mindset, they are being permanently strengthened. You're essentially curing yourself of the fear of investing, and you're finally realizing a key truth. Money isn't just meant to be earned, it has to be put to work. Now let's look at how this builds in stage 2, which is acceleration. During years 3 and 4, the magic genuinely starts happening. Your principal investment was already working, right? But now your profit actually begins to earn its own profit. The money you made last year is literally working for you this year, creating these multiplying layers of wealth. You'll start to notice your wealth graph is no longer just this flat line, it's finally starting to curve upward. But right here is the biggest threat to your financial freedom. Welcome to the danger zone. Some call this the year 4 trap. Right when you start seeing big figures, maybe 8 to 15 lakhs accumulating in your account, your own mind starts playing the ultimate trick on you. You feel rich. You feel like, hey, I've been so frugal for 4 whole years, and suddenly that down payment on a new SUV or that luxury vacation looks incredibly tempting. Listen, if you give in to that temptation, you absolutely must remember this stark warning from our source material. Pulling that money out isn't just a simple withdrawal. You are literally cutting your bamboo tree from its roots right before it shoots into the sky. You are destroying your compounding engine precisely at the moment it's preparing for takeoff. Honestly, earning the money isn't the hardest part. Protecting it from your own sudden temptations is. But if you can just survive that mental trap of year 4, you hit stage 3, the explosion. This is year 5 and beyond. This is your 80-foot bamboo shoot. Your investment graph goes completely vertical. The compounding has layered so intensely by this point that the growth becomes shockingly fast. The returns you start seeing on a monthly basis, they're no longer small change. We're talking massive leaps in wealth. And this leads to the ultimate milestone. This is the moment of true financial freedom. It's when your system, entirely through passive portfolio income, starts paying you more while you sleep than your day job pays you for your sweat and stress. Just imagine that feeling for a second. You don't fear your boss anymore because your job has magically transitioned from a desperate necessity to an absolute choice. By this point in the journey, you've naturally passed what's called the invisibility check. Sure, the zeros in your bank account have changed, but way more importantly, you have changed. You no longer feel the need to seek out flashy things just to show off to the neighbors. You naturally stop the impulsive shopping, you make future-focused decisions, and that deep-seated, underlying middle-class fear of the rat race, it's just completely, permanently gone. Now, let's look at the actual mathematical proof of why you must start immediately, completely regardless of your current income level. A lot of people love to say, oh, I'll start investing when my salary doubles. But here's the thing. Compounding does not care about your salary. It cares about the calendar. In the battle of an early start versus a big start, the math tells a really fascinating story. Let's just run the numbers. Say we have a 35-year-old investing a hefty $10,000 a month and a 25-year-old investing just half of that, only $5,000 a month. You'd probably assume the person putting in double the cash wins, right? But by age 50, the 25-year-old who started earlier wins massively. The 35-year-old, despite having way more financial firepower month to month, ends up with significantly less wealth overall. The takeaway here is so profound. Compounding doesn't actually need a massive amount of money to work its magic. What it desperately requires is your time. That simple habit of saving is far more powerful than the raw amount itself. Why? Because time is the ultimate, irreplaceable fuel for the compounding engine. You just cannot afford to wait for the quote-unquote perfect time or the perfect salary. So as we wrap up this explainer, I have a challenge for you. Take the 5-year mirror test tonight. Look yourself in the mirror and accept that there are absolutely no shortcuts and no overnight lotteries come in to save you. The next 5 years are going to pass anyway, right? So make a public commitment to start your 5-year journey immediately before your mind even has the chance to fabricate a new set of excuses. I'm going to leave you with this final, somewhat provocative question. Think hard about this. In exactly 5 years from today, do you still want to wake up to the exact same alarm, fighting the exact same traffic, living the exact same stress? Or do you want a totally new reality where you have actual choices and your money works for you? Decide right now. It is time to start planting your seeds and building your bamboo roots today. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I will catch you in the next one.